back here again with another episode talking about the 48. And we are here today with...
I'm Sean. Hello, Sean Manos.
And Sean, what got you into filmmaking?
What got me into filmmaking? A lot of being attention deficit, hyperactive. No, I just like it. Films are fun. Movies are fun. You watch them as a kid. You want to do them. And so I did them.
So what aspect do you do? Are you primarily an actor? Are you primarily a writer? Do you like to get behind the camera? Do you like to do the editing? What do you do?
I'm primarily an actor. I've kind of become a writer out of necessity. Mm-hmm. I started as an actor. I've been an actor since I was a little kid. My parents were actors. And so kind of just grew up in it. I became a writer. I wasn't getting roles I wanted, so I figured I'd write them. And so that kind of started me down the writing path. Turned out I liked doing it, and most of the projects that we put out these days, I've either written or had a hand in writing in some capacity. So, and my father's a playwright as well, so that helps. So,
what do you prefer? Like doing features, music videos, shorts, documentaries? You've done them all.
Yeah, whatever it's, I guess, called for. Yeah. I like doing every single one is just you attack them differently. Every single one is just its own baby. You know, features are more. I mean, I guess they're more ambitious and everything, so they can potentially take you farther. But then again, you can make a sketch that takes you farther. It's a new age. So,
how many 48s have you done?
I have done 7 48s now. 7 48s. I've acted in all of them. I've written 5 of them as the main screenwriter, but every single one was collaborative. Every single one had writers in the room, idea guys and girls in the room.
You've been a team lead then, I'm assuming?
I was only technically a team lead once, but I've helped spearhead a couple of them. Generally, so I spearheaded 2 of them, and then I helped-ish to spearhead others, while really essentially working in the same exact role I do every time as a writer and actor.
So, when your team is assembled, do you guys have a set format? Like, do you say, you know what, we're going to write tonight, we're going to film tomorrow, we're going to edit Sunday? Or do you sometimes say, you know what, we're going to write and we're going to film tonight? Or like, well, is it the same every time, or is it different?
That has happened. Yeah. I guess it depends on what we come up with, how quickly we come up with it, how easy it is to do that night. Generally, it's been right at the first night, hopefully get done as soon as possible, and then start shooting on it early the next morning, and then work on it. Editing's going on throughout the course of it. And then you do your final touches on Sunday and then put it out. A lot of times in the writing's going on as we're filming sometimes. You know, we're bringing on people who can improvise really well, or... So
you have no treatment? You just say, you know what, we're just going to go in there, this is the premise.
Oh, there's always a treatment. Yeah. But sometimes it's looser than others. Sometimes it's a full-on script, but we're always just, if we're bringing an actor in, we're always just make it your own, you know. So
that's a 48 for you.
Yeah, I'm never a stickler for lines. Like, you have to say my beautiful dialogue so perfectly. I don't do that. So, you know, if we're bringing an actress in, make it your own. So that makes it changes the writing up a little bit, but I think it improves it too. So that's just always kind of been our approach. It's a lot more lax, and usually I act in it, or I always act in it. Sometimes I do bigger roles than others. Sometimes I'm in the movie for 15 seconds. Sometimes I'm the lead guy. So depends on what it calls for. So,
which 48 are you the most proud of?
Well, we've won 3 of them. So I guess those are probably the 3 that come to mind. I mean, the most recent one was Rate Your Clown, so I guess that would be the winner because it was most recent. All of them have been very different from each other, and all of them have been real special to us. Whether it's been with making them with Misha or with Antonio or Darren or whoever. Everyone has been different from each other. Primarily, I've done them with Misha, and those have been the ones that have won. But yeah, they've all been very different. Even those three even had different cast and crew each time. So everyone has been very different from each other. So every time we've put one out, we've always been really proud of it.
I was going to ask you, do you have one that you're not so proud of that you're like, well, I mean, I wish I could have done so much more to this if we had more time?
Yeah. I mean, the one we did last year, becoming MacLaine, we had some things working against it. We were way too ambitious with it, and it was still a top 5 film. It wasn't bad, but it was definitely...
Keith filmed that, right?
Yeah, and he did a great job on it. I mean, it was just kind of, I feel like we bit off a little bit more than we could chew on that one. We really tried to do a whole lot on that. But at the same time, with that said, Jake won Best Director on that thing. You know, it was still a film we were proud of, but that one, it was just almost like a little too much. Keeping it simple is definitely the way to go, I feel like. But yeah, no, the way he shot it was really good. The way Jake edited it was really good. I like the way it looked, you know.
So do you prefer to be on a team where somebody films and then somebody else edits completely different edits?
Oh no, it's what it's called for. It's whatever is called for. I mean, for instance, Misha is a machine who does everything. You know,
but not everybody has that luxury.
Yeah, so. Right. So it really is just, I don't really have a preference either way. I mean, working with Misha is, I've worked with him more than I've worked with anybody else. And so I guess I'm kind of, more comfortable because it's more familiar, and I'm kind of more, I've got more of a process, I guess, if you want to call it that, with him and everything, and what we both bring to the table. And yeah, he shoots it, edits it, directs it, of course, co-writes it, definitely is an idea guy. He's there from the very get-go. He generally is the one setting up all the locations and casting it and everything. And last year we were fortunate enough to have Danny Bass, rest in peace, as producer on ours. So yeah, so
took you all the way over to Europe.
That's right. I didn't go, but
your film got presented in Filmapalooza.
Got presented, yes. And but yeah, it was from the looks of things, it was a really good time. Yeah, and Orlando the year before, same deal. So then the other one was just for the Extinguish Fest,
so
but yeah,
the ones that you were heading, did you go in and wing those, or did you do them spontaneous, or did you have a shot list for all the stuff?
Oh no, yeah, we've never had a shot list. We never really felt they were necessary. I mean, some do definitely. We just kind of are just, script says do that, let's get in there and do that. It's just one extra thing we got to do because you're so up against it, you know, with the way you're making these things that, you know, you have to cut some corners where they make. But so yeah, a lot of it's flying by the seat of your pants. But if you just have a simplistic concept and you're only going to a couple locations, you don't really need one. You just kind of go on the fly, and that's great about working with, you know, like Misha, like knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants to do. And every good cinematographer I've been with that's what they do. They're camera people. They know, they see these shots, you know. And I don't work that way. I don't think that way. I'm an idea writer, actor guy, you know. So I'm very much just like, they're just like, yeah, we'll do this, and I'm just, great, let's do it. Yeah. All of that sounds wonderful. So
how often do you guys disagree? You're like, this is such a great idea. No, I don't want to do that.
Me and Misha, almost never.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have minor disagreements on how we think something should go, but generally the good idea prevails. So it's not like, you know,
shoot both.
We have before.
Yeah. And you're like, see, I told you.
But we but we think differently. Yeah. You know, we approach it differently. So I'm not in his realm of things, and so I'm not in the. I'll have ideas on maybe certain different ways the shot should look, and he'll either do it or he'll do a better version of that because he knows what he's doing. I'm just
sure,
you know, and so like things like that. It's all just the collaboration of it. You know, I'm very much in favor of collaboration. You bring on people who are better than you at at things, and
you surround yourself with people who are better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Surround yourself with people who are better than you, and you'll have success. And I've been very fortunate enough with the 48s, especially, to be successful in the vast majority. 6 out of the 7 have been top 5 films, so we've been very fortunate. I've been very fortunate to have great collaborators. So,
what would you like tell people, like, hey, don't do this or do this, like, what are do's and don'ts of the 48?
Well, you learn from experience.
Like, tell people, like, don't ever do this because this sucks.
Don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't have a situation where there's too many cooks in the kitchen, especially in the writing process. You don't want there to be too many great minds trying to, because everyone's going to want their own kind of, they want their own way of doing it. You know, they have their own ideas on things, and sometimes they don't mesh, and then you got to kind of Frankenstein something together or whatever. So me personally, I like keeping the writer room small. Small to me is 2 to 3 people. Small to someone else might be 5 people. It's really just your prerogative. But so just don't bite off more than you can chew. Keep it simple, and come up with it quick too. The idea you come up with at 8, 9 o'clock, maybe the idea you come up with at 12 or 1 in the morning is a slightly better idea, but it's also, that's 2 hours that you missed, you know, while you're just kind of, that's not good. It's better to just kind of have something simple and then just grow it. Has just kind of been so don't put yourself in a scenario where there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Don't have 2 directors, you know, establish who's going to edit the project, who's going to, you know, establish that early so that you're not kind of stepping on toes. And, you know, because the last thing you need in a stressful environment like, you know, the 48, where you're basically making a movie in 12 hours and then you're kind of cutting it all together in the rest of the time.
And leave it time for them to score.
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah. And it's best to kind of have that all sorted out best you can, you know, so that you can prepare for the unknown. So I guess it's a big don't mixed with a big do. And then it's just learn from experience, you know, learn who you work well with, at the same time also bring people on who you do want to work with, you know, you respect their work or whatever. It's like, yeah, come on in. You're great at what you do. We'd like to bring you on. 48 is
a good way to get people who've never acted before to get a taste of what it's like in a fast pace.
That too. We have had in multiple films we've done, there have been first time actors, definitely first time actors in the 48, and so it's really cool kind of bringing someone new into the process and seeing how they work, and every time they've worked out really well. We've been, you know, really fortunate. We haven't had one instance where an actor or actress didn't work out. It always worked out really well. So, because you write for them, you know, you write to their strengths and they make it their own. So,
did you have, like, My Skin is Great? Did you have somebody that didn't show up and then you had to try to pull people in last minute?
Oh yeah. So it was I wrote it with my friend, my other friend in mind, who couldn't do it, and so we ended up finding Lina, who Misha found, and the role was originally going to be for kind of a more powerful, scary, overpowering type of actress, right? Who would really almost physically overpower my character. Lina is a very tiny person. so what she brought was kind of a more of a Harley Quinn-esque kind of energy to it, made it that much creepier, and she made it completely her own, and it changed the film to make it what it should be with her in it, and she killed it, got an award for it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a perfect example of just, you bring an actress on, let them make it their own. It'll be a successful project. You know, as long as you kind of allow them that freedom. But I'm also an actor, so
yeah,
that's, I may be a little biased in that, but I've also always found it to be successful. So,
if you could change one thing about the 48 to make it better, what would you like to introduce?
What I changed about the 48 to make it better? I mean, it's kind of been around forever. It's
what would you like to see different?
Yeah, it's kind of it seems like it's tried everything and settled on what it is, and it's worked. Especially it being in 100 cities plus.
Countries.
So, right. So maybe more in the awards catered, like maybe another award towards like a rising star, maybe recognizing a new face who is just getting going, who maybe didn't make the best film because it's their first film, but it's almost kind of like we like what you're doing, don't quit, you could do this, don't quit, like one of the, like a rookie of the year or a best newcomer. I'd like to see someone like that recognized. They kind of did that a little bit in the horror 48. They did that kind of makeshift we liked your film but it didn't win award that they gave to them. It was so it was kind of like why don't you kind of do that but make it but make it an official kind of thing, you know. Maybe not rookie of the year, best newcomer, whatever, something to kind of take somebody who may, because I mean first time filmmakers are probably an anxious ridden mess, you know. So let's give them a little bit of a plaque telling them that their work was appreciated, it was a good first stab at it, and keep at it, you know. I think I'd like to see something like that maybe. But in terms of the structure of the day, I mean, what can you change about 48? It's the name is in the thing, so I mean if you change it, it's not really what it is.
Like add an element to it, you know.
Yeah, you could do that. Certainly. You could add one.
James Gappy suggested the winning team gets to repick if they didn't like those two genres they got. Let's do a repick.
You could do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know anything on
that? You could do that. Well, I mean, the way my mind works is just adapt.
Yep.
So it's just kind of like, all right, cool, silent western. All right, let's rock it. You know, it's that. I guess that's just where my mind goes. So, but I don't know. Taking out an element, adding or putting an element in, maybe I don't know. Maybe more of a diversity with the type of thing. So like I remember like John MacLaine, who was a spy. Isn't John MacLaine actually a spy in Die Hard? So maybe not to like shit on that, you know. It was rad. It was fun, but I don't know. But to be fair, like they changed that up in the horror 48. It was a lot more. I like the randomness of things, you know. Random is cool. I like random. You could work really well with random. You can innovate. So yeah.
Well, what projects do you have coming up that you want to plug?
Oh boy, we a lot. So because of the nature of Operation Hermit, a lot of things have been kind of put on hold. But we've got a short film, Pretty Metal. We're gonna, as soon as we get the SAG regulations, we're gonna get working on that. We've broken ground on a feature of that, along with Eli and Shifty House. We're in the process of either in post-production or in the writing process, different forms of the writing process of probably about 4 different things right now.
Cool.
And then that's not including acting roles I'll be doing in other projects. And then also me and Misha, especially Misha, created this concept, and we're looking to potentially make that our next series. So that's in the wings as well. And but with that said, I'm not stretched too thin. So if you're a filmmaker, you want to work, let's work. So
how would they reach you? Like you got websites, YouTube page, MySpace?
I have a MySpace. I think MySpace took it down.
Yeah.
So if you wanted Angsty Sean, it may be lost to the ether of the dark web now. But so if you can find me that way, I'll check it when I can.
You still have your top 8 friends up there?
Oh yeah, and there was even a fuck top 8 for a little while when top 8 was kind of like it got to So yeah, Facebook, my name's on there. I don't have a stage name or anything. Instagram, same deal. It's just first name dot last name, Sean Manos. You can message me on either of those. I'll respond pretty quick. Let me know what you got. Let's work.
Perfect.
I like work going from the ground up. So all
Thank
right,
you for coming out.